to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you in an embarrassing 15-1 deficit. Rangers still on the All-Star break beach, unfortunately. Look, I know a lot of people are going to chalk this up to Sale, as Evan Carter is going to fly out here for the first out of the inning. I know a lot of people are going to chalk this up to Sale, and I just got to say this. Did it have to be 15? I get Higgy gave up a couple of there, right? A few there in the bottom of the eighth, but 15? Let's go now. I mean, look, I definitely did not have a strong confidence that the Rangers were going to thrash the Braves tonight with Chris Sale on the mound. I did put out a video earlier today. I mean, this has been a weird team that does sometimes really rise to the occasion against top pitching talent. I mean, they've done it against Cease. They did that in June in Toronto. They've done it against Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. They've done it against some of the Angels' top arms. They've done it against a number of other opponents. Hunter Brown recently, before the All-Star break, they roughed him up. You just thought today you'd get a little bit of a better effort. Again, nobody was, I think, pretending like the Rangers were going to win this game 10-0. But 15 runs. It's embarrassing. It really is. It's embarrassing. I think we have to call it like it is. It doesn't have to be like this. So I will say, Cal Quantrill, definitely not a good night for him. Not a great night for Cal. He's been very solid. I think it's a testament to how solid he's been that Cal gave up 6 earned runs tonight and still has an ERA under 4. I mean, I think you have to step back for a minute. I get Cal is going to be an easy target, 6 earned runs, 11 hits, totally understand it. But I think you have to put it in perspective, man. The dude's got a 3.93 ERA, and he gave up 6 earned runs tonight in 4 innings. I mean, it's definitely a positive, a net positive, I would say, in terms of pitching with all the ups and downs of the rotation, injury health. I do think a valid point was brought up about the Rangers' choices today, and I think we have to address it a little bit here. DeGrom, obviously, still recovering from the glute thing. I think he might pitch in the White Sox series. That is the latest. Several people were asking about Eovaldi. Why don't you have Eovaldi pitch tonight? Apparently, he's dealing with some kind of illness, and it's likely that he's going to pitch on Sunday if all goes well. So if you were wondering where's Evo, where's Nitro tonight, who I think the Rangers probably would have thrown if he was healthy, I think they would have, no-brainer, thrown Eovaldi tonight to open up this series. That would have been quite the matchup, by the way, Eovaldi-Sale. Not saying it would have gone any better. And in some ways, now that you have the benefit of hindsight, it might be of benefit, might be beneficial that the Rangers didn't burn Eovaldi tonight with how poorly they played against Chris Sale. Now you've got an opportunity to throw Eovaldi on Sunday against, I think it's Grant Holmes who's throwing. You might have a better opportunity to take a game there. All right, we got a 3-2 count coming up to Berger. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, second base. And this is going to do it. Rangers are going to drop the first game of the second half, 15-1. And look, rain or shine, we're here to talk about it. This has been a game that's dragged on long enough that we have been able to go through the grieving process already. I know some of y'all may still be pissed off about this one, and there are elements that make me a little bit upset after a game like today, but by and large, I've already had a chance to process. This is an L, man. When it was 6-0 in the 4th inning, you knew. And if you didn't know in the 4th inning, you knew in the 5th inning when it ended up being 8-0. You knew. It's over, baby. It is over. Buzzer is 0-1 right now. This has got to be the gold comment of the night right here. I mean, look, some of y'all can cook up some pretty good stuff, but this has got to be the gold comment of the night. TikTok, this, by the way, from YouTube. What's good, my guy? Always good to see you. Buzzer is 0-1. 0-1 on the season. I was trolling around a little bit, and I saw there were some people, man. I shouldn't laugh about it because it's not a good situation. It really isn't. Just people struggling with the app, and I was seeing some screenshots going around. It's just too bad. That's something we're going to talk about tonight. I'm not going to go on and on about it. And let's be honest, nobody really knows everything about the situation unless you're one of the brass in the front office, unless you're the director of media and all that stuff. And nobody knows 100% what's going on. But I will say that you've got 3 different distributors now for the Rangers in 2 seasons, right? You had Bally or Diamond, excuse me, whatever it was. Sorry, live on the air, brain cramping a little bit. Bally, Diamond, look, both at some point. And then you had, of course, Victory, and now you have Buzzer. 3 different distributors of RSN in 2 seasons. That to me is definitely maybe a little bit of misfortune. You can't control everything, can you? You can't control Victory not making payments, things of that nature. You can't control what happened with Bally and the bankrupt, going bankrupt, money, all that stuff. But I will say this: Rangers have a choice at the beginning of all of this. They had a choice, and they decided to go with Victory Plus, and the choice didn't work out. And we're at about a year and a half later. It's not like this was some long-standing relationship and Victory Plus finally bit the dust. This was a situation where less than 2 years from the time you struck up an agreement, a deal with Victory Plus, you're going to Buzzer. And obviously there are some connections with Buzzer and with Rangers brass. And I know there's some conspiracy theories going on there. I do tend to think it probably is more Victory Plus not ponying up, not holding up their end of the ante, and Buzzer being the convenient option with a strong connection, obviously, to the Rangers and their front office, right? Their higher ups. Now, the thing that I said in my post yesterday morning, just my take on the whole Buzzer situation, you have the Rangers as the ultimate decision makers here. Rangers could have gone with MLB. They could have had MLB stream all of their games as the distributor. And by the way, there's double-digit amount of clubs that do that. There's double-digit amount of clubs out there that just have MLB do the distribution. It's very straightforward. Now, the reason why the Rangers decided not to use MLB as their distributor is because they wanted to make more money. And they told us that this would enable them to be more progressive and aggressive in other areas. I think a lot of Rangers fans would probably chuckle at that, myself included. You went with RSN and you went with Victory Plus in tandem. You balked at MLB being the distributor so you could keep more money, right? And then you shrunk payroll this year. Like, I don't know how you don't see the two-facedness of that. I know I'm stumbling over my words a little bit here, but you went with Victory Plus. You then, the next season, cut spending. You didn't spend as much on the players going into this 26 season. It's just kind of a little bit laughable to me. Like, you sold us on this is going to be really good and open things up and be more financially beneficial, and you're actually shrinking things. So for me, anybody that's saying or defending the team, well, they have to do what they have to do to make more money, they just shrunk payroll. What are we talking about here? So for me, I am disappointed that this happened. Kind of like a thief in the night. Really not great timing to do it over the All-Star break. You're riding high off of the Astros series. There's a lot of goodwill built up. Great home run derby. If you didn't get a chance to watch, that's a whole nother story, man. The way that MLB continues to make watching the product as difficult as possible at times. By the way, MLB Home Run Derby was on Netflix. And a lot of us have Netflix. I have Netflix, was able to watch it. I know not everybody has Netflix. I get it. Not everybody wants to pay for 9 million things. That's another debate. That's a total other debate, man. But I will say this. It's just unfortunate that it had to happen right now, and there was not a lot of transparency. There was no, hey, there's some issues. We're working through it. We're hopeful that it all works out. You just kind of had, we're switching, and the game's in 2 days. It's not ideal. It's never ideal to do that. And so I hope Buzzer works out. I hope it's a good app, and I'm glad to hear that it wasn't too bad tonight. Dalton, what's good, man? Thank you for the comment. I definitely understand that for a lot of people, it probably wasn't a huge deal, right? For a lot of people, you tapped on the email link and you got hooked up pretty immediately. Of course, it's on Fire Stick, it's on Apple TV, but there are quite a few that I know I have connected with, a few fans, a number of fans, I should say, that are going to have to do something different than what they were doing in the first half of the season, because Buzzer isn't on Roku and it's not an app that you can download on certain TVs. I think LG TVs do not have Buzzer as a downloadable app. There are fans that are now having to make an adjustment, and that really should never have to happen. I'm happy that the Rangers obviously are able to not charge people additional money. I know that it's not a great situation, but we have to keep the focus where it belongs. The organization has to figure out a long-term solution here. And if it's Buzzer, great. I hope that they can actually make this work with Buzzer for more than just 1 or 2 seasons. If it's not Buzzer and you deem that at the end of this season it wasn't a great fit, find a long-term solution so fans are not consistently on this carousel of different apps, different packages, different subscriptions to buy. Look, the live chat on Buzzer, I 100% knew that they're not turning that thing on, man. Now, I think you can do like watch alongs. Like, I think there's some creators on there from what I've heard, like that will do like what I do. And maybe you can actually like have the game up. That could be fun. Although I feel like I know a lot of Rangers fans aren't feeling great about Buzzer, but that would actually be cool. That would be fun for me if you actually had the ability. Like right now, you guys on YouTube, I've got the Game Day app up there, right? But I would love if I could actually legally show the stream while I do my lives. That would be phenomenal. I know that a lot of people would probably call me a sellout, but that would actually be cool. I would actually not mind doing that at all. But look, that's another story for another day. I really would like to see things cool off a little bit. I know a lot of people are hot about the move. It's not ideal. The Rangers got to figure it out. They've got to find a way to put the fans first and put the fans in a better position. You can't pull the rug in the middle of the season like this, man. Yeah, look, if you had live chat on, it would get crazy. Brennan, I'm totally with you on that. It would get crazy. Tyler, what's good? Rangers are my team, but they aren't contending for anything this season. The only pushback is the division is so bad. I think they may actually. I think they may actually still be in contention, just because the rest of what's around them isn't very good either. That would be my only pushback there. I don't think that this is a phenomenal team. I've said many times, I think the Rangers have some good players, but if you're asking me, are they a World Series contender? The answer is no. I do not think the Rangers are a World Series contender as currently constructed. Now, could they make 2 or 3 trades and suddenly be in business? Yeah, they could. I definitely think they could. But right now, as it stands, no. I don't see that. I don't. What's good, my guy? Cal Quantrill, not very good. The Bats sold tonight against Chris Sale. And you've got the bullpen, not very sharp. Emiliano Teodo made his MLB debut. Look, you guys, by the way, that's a good segue. Let's talk Teodo a little bit here. I think that everything that I said leading up to Teodo's debut came true tonight. We've said on the show, Teodo's got really good stuff. It's plus stuff. It's MLB stuff. You can see the slider. You can see the triple-digit fastball. Like Emiliano Teodo has MLB stuff, but he does not have MLB control. I told you guys he averages about a walk per inning. I mean, it's a little under a walk per inning in AAA. And when you've got MLB stuff in AAA, you can work around some of those walks. You can get guys to strike out. You can overmatch guys. You can overpower guys. When you're at the major league level and you're giving away free passes consistently, most MLB teams are going to punish you. Now, I do think it's frustrating because Teodo has been hyped up for multiple years now, right? I mean, look, if you go back to 23 to 24, Teodo has been getting a lot of hype, and it's cooled a little bit because he's dealt with some injuries, but Teodo has been getting a lot of hype over the past, I would say, 2 or 3 seasons. It is a little concerning to me that they still haven't been able to figure out this control issue. And when I say they, I know that the onus goes on Emiliano. He has to be the one who figures it out. He has to be the one that throws strikes up there. But yes, the Rangers are also responsible. They need to do a better job locking in on that particular component of his game and getting it where it needs to be, which is not walking one hitter every inning. And that's what he's averaging. 24 was definitely peak for Teodo, man. The hype was off the charts in 24. I feel like in 25, it cooled a little bit because of injury. This year, it feels like kind of just normal levels. Everybody remembers Teodo and the hype of 24. But I think a lot of people, expectations are tempered a little bit, mine included, right? And so I think Teodo is going to be going back down when Monty or when, Cody Bradford come back. Robert Garcia, I guess, is throwing again too. Yay! RG returns. Yeah, I think that Teodo is going to be a guy that you maybe look to next year. Maybe when rosters expand. Been a long day. When rosters expand, you could see Teodo potentially being a part of that. But I think he's more of a guy that maybe gets an opportunity to make the roster out of spring training in 27. I think that is probably where he's projecting a little bit better. Cal got set up tonight. Pitching to contact ain't going to work against a team that knocks the piss out of the ball. Well said, my guy. Well said. Would prefer not to be huge buyers, but a back-end starter is a big priority. Yeah, you guys have heard me championing you got to go get a starter. I love what Gore did on Sunday. It is no disrespect to Gore, man. I actually have a lot of respect for McKenzie with what he did on Sunday, pitching on 3 days rest. That told me a lot about his character. Now, let's separate the character from the results on the field. The results on the field have been dicey. They've been up and down. They've been inconsistent. Look, I think you would definitely want to at least be in the market for a dependable, a consistent back of the rotation starter. And we discussed this at length, I want to say, on Saturday, right before the break, right before the All-Star break. We talked about, give me a guy that goes 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. I don't need Tarek Skubal. If we go out and get Skubal, I'll get on board. Trust me. I don't want to know what the prospect haul is going to be, but I'll get on board if we go get Skubal. You're not going to get negativity from this account. I'm sure other people will whine and complain about it. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy Tarek Skubal in Ranger Red, White, and Blue. Thank you very much. But I think the Rangers would be fine just going to get a guy that can just give you a consistent start every time. The thing with Mackenzie Gore, and I mean, shoot, adding Cal Quantrill a little bit here, right? You just don't completely know what you're going to get every start. I feel the same way about Rocker. I feel the same way about Leiter. You don't know what you're going to get from these guys every 5th day. That doesn't play in October. That doesn't play in the playoffs. You know that you're going to get, probably in all likelihood, from Eovaldi and DeGrom, a quality start. Are you going to get 7 shutout innings from DeGrom? I would say at this point in his career, that's a little bit more rare. Are you going to probably get 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less from Jacob? Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about Evo. Is it, without fail? Absolutely not. We know DeGrom has gotten lit up for 5, 6 earned runs a couple of different times this year. But I think that we all understand the concept here. It is a much safer bet with those two than it is with Gore, Rocker, or Leiter. And so the guy that the Rangers hypothetically maybe go and get at the deadline, a starting pitcher, doesn't need to be an ace. Just needs to be a guy that you can trust to not totally melt down in October and just completely lose a game right from the jump, like tonight, right? This is what you can't have in October. Clearly, we're not in October. It's still July, but this is exactly what you can't do when you're in a playoff series, especially when you're in a 3-game playoff series in the wild card round, which is exactly what the Rangers are going to end up in, right? There's no way the Rangers are going to be able to avoid the wild card round. I don't think that there's any chance Texas finishes as one of the top 2 division winners, right? That's how it works. Yeah. You have 6 teams that make it. The top 2 division winners, meaning the division winners that have the best records, get a bye. And then after that, the 4 teams, 3 wild card, worst division winner, if you will, they play each other. There's no way the Rangers are going to avoid, just in my humble opinion here, they're not going to avoid a 3-game wild card series. So who are you having pitch in a winner-take-all Game 3? And look, the Rangers might not even be able to do that. They might have to pitch DeGrom and Eovaldi Game 161, Game 162. Like, they might have to do that. That's how close it could become with the Mariners, maybe with the Astros in the AL West. We'll see what happens. If you really want to be a little bit more secure in October, especially in a 3-game set like that, I think going to get a pitcher is more than reasonable. All right, we keep rolling. Any update on DeGrom or Seager? J-Rock, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. We have to pray for a wild card. Well, I think, Jackson, what's good, man? Always good to see you. We're definitely going to be in the wild card either way. Like, you're either in the wild card round because you are a wild card team, or you're in the wild card round because you are the worst record of the division winners. Skip talking right now, guys. Let me take a quick break and listen to Skip.
Caliber pitcher that was on his game tonight, 97, 99. All his pitches working. We just couldn't put anything together against him.
Got to show some love to Chris Sale, right? Got to show some love to the starting pitcher. Always a Skip special.
On his game, that's all we can say.
All we can say. He's on his game.
Spot for Emiliano Teodo. I know the adrenaline there was still pumping for him, but what did you make of his debut?
Yeah, I mean, I think the story of Teodo right now is just the fastball command and strikes. When he throws strikes, he's really good. When he doesn't throw strikes, the walks happen and the runs score. So I thought there was some really good signs with 93 mile an hour slider, 102 mile an hour fastball, but up here when you don't throw strikes, you get in trouble. And so that was kind of a learning lesson for him tonight.
Yep.
So we'll talk about it and go through it tomorrow, but he has a bright future up there.
For Cam Colley, that hustle double in the 8th, I know that's normally not something you would want to see in a game where the score is like this, but just what does that tell you about the way that some of these young players don't take any of these opportunities for granted?
Yeah, I mean, he plays one style of baseball, and it's all-out baseball. He's a really good player. I'll take the hustle double anytime. I want him to play as hard as he can every time he plays.
Did I admittedly, guys, I walked away. Was doing a couple of things to get set up for the show. The Colley double, Laura's asking about it right now. He was hustling. I get that. Was there some other component to the Colley double that I was missing? I get it's a hustle double. Was it like he ran through a stop sign or something? Like, I don't understand the question, I guess. I'm sorry. I didn't get the whole context of it, but I'm not sure why that was such a big question. Like, yeah, he hustled and he got a double. Let me know if I'm missing something on that. But anyways, so Skip gives his credit to the starting pitcher per usual. That's a Skip Schumacher special in almost every loss. You got to love on the opposing pitcher. Now, look, Chris Sale, easy guy to praise, right? I mean, look, I don't know where he is going to stand at the end of his career, but peak Chris Sale, man, that when he was pitching, I can remember when I first moved out here to Vegas and he was pitching with the White Sox. This is the early 2010s, right? That dude was just the most dominant pitcher in baseball. Like if he was pitching, like the juice on his games, like betting the White Sox was insane. Like I know not all of y'all are familiar with betting. And obviously we don't do a lot of betting segments here on the show, but occasionally, look, being where I live, you're around it pretty much all the time. He would always constantly be like bet 300 to win 100. Like, I mean, you were never getting anywhere close to even money odds when Chris Sale was on the mound. The dude's amazing. And I think that the Rangers didn't have zero chance going into this game, but I think a lot of us knew it's going to be an uphill battle. I know that in the benefit of hindsight, obviously there's going to be people maybe dunking on my take from earlier today where I said, you know what, maybe Chris Sale running into him, maybe it'll surprise us tonight. It didn't. I know a lot of people are going to be trying to dunk on my take from earlier, which was basically, look, the Rangers are a weird team, and sometimes they win games when they shouldn't. This year, they've gone up against some ace pitchers, and they have done really, really well, and then they go up against a really bad rookie pitcher, and the rookie pitcher looks like Cy Young. I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to what I'm saying, but Sale was on his game tonight, no doubt. I can respect Skip saying this tonight a lot more than I can when, it's the Orioles' fifth starter or, the Rockies' fourth starter, some dude you've never really heard of, and, you're giving him love like he's a future Cy Young winner. That ain't it for me, but I can do it when it comes to Chris Sale. That is for sure. Now, we keep going. Update on DeGrom. He probably is going to throw in the White Sox series. That'll be fun. Will Venable, good team. Rangers got a couple good teams here back-to-back, Braves and White Sox. So looks like DeGrom is going to throw in the White Sox series if all goes well. Corey Seager ran around on the field today. I think he did some light work, and as far as I know, there was nothing crazy, no setbacks, so we'll see what happens there. I think Evaldi, Braden, what's good, man, by the way? Good to see you. I believe Evaldi's pitching on Sunday. I don't think that he was feeling great either yesterday or today. I don't know if he was ever going to start today. I think he was maybe going to start tomorrow. I think they're planning on starting Evaldi as long as he is at full strength or close to it. We may get swept badly against the Braves. The bullpen is going to get gassed. I think we'll take one game. I think when you lose game one of a 3-game set, man, it is hard to sit around and proclaim, yeah, we're going to win 2 straight here, especially when tomorrow you're not going to be throwing DeGrom, you're not going to be throwing Evaldi. I do think the Rangers can get one, but it's going to be tough. It's a brutal loss. I know a lot of people are throwing it away. I don't want to throw this one away completely. It's embarrassing. You got 15 runs hung on you. It is the beauty of baseball that tomorrow you can go win a ball game, and you know what? The 15-1 loss shows up like any other loss, doesn't it? But still, it's embarrassing. You're coming out of the All-Star break. You're riding high after beating up on the Astros, and then you come out and do this. It's just a dud, man. It sucks. So I'm not going to brush it under the rug like, oh, yeah, whatever, no big deal. This bad. It's not a good game. Not a great game. Not even a competitive game. Offense was really, really stymied by Chris Sale. But look, even when they got to the bullpen in the 8th and 9th inning, you saw a little more action, didn't you? But just not the Rangers' night. That doesn't mean that, it's totally gravy and nothing is wrong, nothing to see here. But I think that you got to take a little bit away from this. The Rangers, they definitely are susceptible to these kinds of nights. And I think that's what makes you, keep your hand close to the panic button when it comes to this team. That's why it's so easy to melt down about this team when they're losing, isn't it? And I got to admit, I can be the same way sometimes, but nights like tonight make my hand inch closer and closer to the panic button. They just are a team that you don't fully trust. You know that they're capable of winning a really big game, and you know that they're capable of doing this, getting shut out offensively and getting lit up from the pitching side. Why is it such a hard task for us to develop pitching? Feels like we're the only team that can't develop pitching. I bet there's other examples, Caden. Always good to see you, man. But it is frustrating. You've got a few guys that you can point to in the system. I think that there's definitely some hope that you can still see some positive things from, guys like Rocker, Leiter. And when I say positive, I mean like these guys turn into like 350, sub 350 arms. ERA we're talking about here. Look, I know FIP is probably the better stat, but we'll use ERA for the sake of argument here and just making sure everybody's on the same page. Like, those guys should be number 2, number 3 solid pitchers. I hope that can still happen with them. But yes, development in general, I don't think from the outside looking in, the casual look in, it doesn't feel like the Rangers have bred a lot of homegrown stars. There's a few in the mix here and there over the history of the franchise for sure. No doubt. I don't think there's any question. There's definitely a number of them that you can point to. But of late, yeah, it's tough. They're definitely a lot more flameouts than success stories. Yeah, look, Darnell, I hope you're right on this. They are throwing a couple of young guys the next 2. The problem is the Braves bullpen, man. Like, you have to get on the Braves starters because the bullpen, look, regardless of what you got from Sale tonight, the bullpen is the strength of this staff, man. The bullpen for the Braves is really good. And so for me, you've got to figure out a way to get to the starters tomorrow. That is the key. Jock, look, is not going to play against lefties. Kachawit's good. Jock isn't playing against lefties. I think Jock has less than 25 plate appearances against lefties this year. Like, it is a minuscule number. They are not going to ask Jock to hit lefties very much. And this is why, by the way, this is why I'm not in favor of bringing Jock back next year for $18.5 million. You basically got a platoon player making $18.5 million. I know that we all felt, I think, pretty positive when Jock was signed, and obviously last year was terrible. This year has been much better for Jock. I'm not a fan of spending $18.5 million to pick up Jock's option next year. There's some Rangers fans I feel like that are already on that page. Like, yeah, of course, you pick up the option. Why? Why would you want to pay $18.5 million for a guy that doesn't play against players like Chris Sale? I want a guy that plays every day if I'm spending $18.5 million, man. All right, we keep going. Almost went to the game. I was in Atlanta earlier in the week, but left because FIFA was making hotels crazy costly. Chris, probably good that it all worked out this way, man. Teodo stats as a starter in 24. Matt, I didn't see your post, man. I'll see if I can pull it up. Good to see you, brother. Jock doesn't play against lefties. You already answered that. I got to catch up, y'all, man. I'm way behind. How am I a jinx? Texas Carnage, how am I a jinx? Stop posting video. Okay. The videos of us in first place are jinxing us. All right. I just had to be clear on what the jinx actually is. The pitcher getting a hit was the cherry on top, Jackson. That is 100% accurate. Richard, it is true. I mean, this counts as one loss. It's just, I think the best way I can put it, it's just the fact that you see like the best and the worst in this team. The best, obviously, some of the Astros walk-offs and all that. It's just magical, right? The good fight at the end. But then you just see this team get totally dog-walked. And I know Chris Sale's on the mound, but this happened against the Angels too. This isn't like just one game, an outlier. This happens with Texas. And this is why there's a lot of fans that don't fully trust this team. Of course, it's just one loss in the loss column, but I think that there's something to be said about the way that they're losing, right? The way that they are dropping this game is what I think gets a lot of ire. I think had this been, a 4-0 loss, Sale shuts you out, you lose 4-zip. I think we're all feeling a lot differently. 15-1. I know Higgy gave up 3 of the runs. It's still 12-1 before Higgy comes in the ball game. By the way, man, are we sure we want to deal Kyle Higashioka? What are we going to do in mop-up when we don't have Higgy on the mound? I know I've been touting that we need to trade this guy. What are we going to do when we don't have Higgy to mop up these messes at the end of ball games, man? Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, look, I can't say that I wasn't surprised. I actually had some hope going into this game. I knew that it was going to be tough against Sale. But again, this team's got some weird energy. Cal's been on a little bit of a roll. I thought he could keep us close. It didn't happen. Yes, they did soil the bed tonight, no doubt. Darnell, talk to me. What do you want to do at the deadline, man? I think we all can understand CY is going to buy. A lot of people, when I bring up or I post reels about what I want at the deadline, who I want to buy, stuff like that, people are like, dude, do you really want to buy? Like, why would you buy? They need to be selling. I'm like, the reason why I've gone this direction, do I think the Rangers should be big-time buyers at this deadline? The jury's out. The jury's out for me. I do think they need to be careful. I'll say that. That's a different discussion. CY is going to buy. I don't see any realm where he doesn't buy. I think he will buy again. He's proven that. And the consensus around the league, Ken Rosenthal just put out an article on this about a week ago. The consensus around the league is that he's buying. Maybe he doesn't. It shocks us all, but I think he is. And so with that in mind, with that context, we're talking about what the Rangers should buy, because I think that is going to happen. We keep rolling. My tweet was Teodo starter stats was in response of, I think he was, okay. So the starting pitcher path for Teodo, it's been minor leagues, and then I think this year he has moved a little bit more towards being a relief pitcher. Look, I think that he probably is a little more dangerous with the stuff he's got in relief. And the Rangers right now, yes, they are going to need to replenish starting pitching eventually. But clearly they've made an organizational decision that Teodo might be better served in relief. We'll see. Let's keep rolling here. What else I got? Nate, this is great. I did say, where was Zeke tonight, man? Zeke's got a career 0 ERA as a pitcher. I was a little surprised they weren't putting Zeke on the mound, man. He will probably be the guy, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be the de facto once Kyle Higashioka leaves. I mean, Zeke's in a little bit more of a primary role this year versus like in years past where he was essentially just depth, not necessarily starting all the time. I do think that he'll be the guy if Higgy gets traded, no doubt. No doubt. Cal may have given runs, but our fielding today was unacceptable. Yeah, the Josh Young belly flop. I mean, that's when I kind of threw my hands up like, all right, let's put a 10 on this circus and call it a night, baby. Like, Josh Young just face planting on that ground ball. Man, that kind of summed things up pretty well for Texas coming out of the All-Star break, man. If you want a picture of what happened tonight, I mean, look, God bless Josh. He's had a great season with the bat. He has made some nice plays defensively, but by and large, the defense has not been very good for Josh. And I do think when I talk about what the Rangers want to do long-term at the hot corner, what the Rangers want to do long-term at third base, I think you look at plays like that, just, I mean, look, Josh, he's definitely an athlete. He is an athlete. I don't think we can take that title away, but I will say I'd like to see the Rangers get a little more athletic at third base. I mean, I think that if you just rewatch that play and you just watch the way Josh moves in general, is he swinging a great bat? 1,000%. Yeah, he is. I don't think anybody can take that away. Do I think we could upgrade the athleticism at third base? Yes, I do. Look, I've got fans that are totally in love with Evan Carter for his defense, man. It would be nice if we could get that out of our third baseman too. Like we've got so many people propping up outfield defense when it comes to the Evan Carter discussion. And look, maybe if he was raking, it wouldn't matter. I know people are naturally going to gravitate towards the bat, but my goodness, I'd love to get a little bit more athletic at 3B. We keep rolling. Anyone else getting an invalid code when trying to switch over from Victory? Guys, you know I do MLB TV, being that I am not local. I grew up in Arlington, lived there for many years, but live out in Vegas now. So I do MLB TV, but I'm happy to be a spot where we can hopefully get things figured out for anyone having trouble with the buzzer pivot, if you will. So I think definitely put it in the comments. Anybody else getting an invalid code when they try to switch over? Drop it in the comments if you are. Hopefully we can get this figured out for you. Let's see. What else? Not shocked the organization made Teodo bullpen similar to Antoine. Oh, that's a little bit of a deep cut there, Matt. Yeah, I mean, think about Cole Winn. I mean, Cole Winn was a first-round pick out of Orange Lutheran in California, and he is now a relief pitcher and has been for a while. So that is a natural progression. I do think that another guy is Brock Porter, right? Brock Porter was in that 23. What am I thinking? 22? Maybe it was the 22 draft. I think it was the 22 draft when Brock Porter got taken. He was the best high school pitcher in the draft, but they weren't sure if he was going to sign. He had committed to Clemson. He really, I think, was leaning towards Clemson. Rangers decided to take him a little bit higher, so that way they could convince him, give him some more money, and he ended up signing with the Rangers, right? Not going to Clemson. But Brock Porter is now a relief pitcher. He's definitely having, I think, a decent year this year, but that's another example of a starting pitcher, a pretty high drafted starting pitcher, turning into a relief pitcher. I love JJ. He could stay. Long term, I think JJ is going to have to do something else. I don't think you can continue to trot him out to third base. I don't know what that means. If you're going to DH him, are you going to put him at first? There's only so many positions Josh Young can really play, but I can't imagine the Rangers are evaluating and looking at the glove. Third base is a really important position. I mean, look, this is from a fan base that watched years of Adrian Beltre down at the hot corner. I think we can all agree third base is an important position. Regardless of how well Josh Young is swinging the bat, you've got to have good third base defense, man. And Josh Young has kind of given you the opposite of that. I think this is definitely something that the Rangers are thinking about. I would be shocked if they're not considering, what do we do about this? The defense has not been good. We can get more athletic at third base. What do we do with this? Does that mean Berger is expendable? Does that mean that, maybe Berger, do you swap Berger and put him at third base? He's a third baseman. This is another idea. Maybe Young to first base, Walcott to third. I just don't think that the Rangers are going to be holding out. Josh Young's going to be 29 next year. Yeah, that's not old necessarily for baseball, but I think the point is, he's 2 or 3 years away from where fans are at right now with Corey Seager, which is move Seager to DH, get him to first base, and get somebody else in there. I think that the writing is on the wall. We'll see what the Rangers decide to do next year. Do they try and resurrect Josh Young at third base one more year? Maybe this year was an anomaly defensively for him. But look, if Walcott starts tearing the cover off the baseball, that's going to force the issue a little bit, isn't it? And the Rangers may have to make some tough trades. They may have to trade some guys that are depth, have some potential, maybe are fan favorites in their own right, Rangers are going to have to do some interesting things with the roster, especially if Walcott really forces the issue. Look, I'm not a big fan of Berger going to third either. Trust me. Just kind of spitballing a little bit. I don't know what Berger was like when he did play third primarily. If that was a good spot for him or not, probably not, because if he was a really good third baseman, you probably wouldn't move him off of there. But I think, just spitballing, there's not a lot of options besides you have Walcott play third base if he is ready next year, or maybe you do a swap. I think Walcott going to third would be my preference, though. That would be my preference. A lot of errors. It is a lot of errors. I mean, look, if you go to DRS, which I know some fans prefer outs above average, Josh Young's not quite as bad if you're looking at OAA. If you're looking at DRS, defensive runs saved, last time I checked, Josh was at like a -9 or a -10, meaning he's cost the Rangers 9 or 10 runs because of his defense. And that at the time, and I think it still is, the worst number of all major league third basemen. And it ranks down there at the bottom when you're talking about all infielders as well. Not great. Not great. So we'll see what the Rangers decide to do there. But moving on, tonight, to kind of put a bow on the game, you go up and down the lineup, and you had Foscue with the knock, Nimmo with the knock, Colley, Diaz, Lopez. Lopez with the lone RBI, of course. Because of course. It's Nicky Lopez, man. Nicky freaking Lopez. I'm glad that the Rangers at least avoided the shutout, but there are a lot of zeros. A lot of zeros on this page, on this box score. Langford over. You had Josh Young going over, Berger over, Duran. A lot of zeros. You flush it, you move on to tomorrow. Rangers 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, 4 left on base. Look, that's another thing too. Just to put to totally tie up that Josh Young discussion. Josh Young doesn't get an error for that play where he falls on his face. That to me is wild. Like, again, how do you not get an error there just because you fell over, you face planted? Like that was going to be an out. But Josh Young falls over, so they don't give him an error. That's why the fans that always like come back at me with fielding percentage, I'm like, they don't give errors when they should. When it comes to fielding percentage, I know that it's a number historically that a lot of old school fans have kind of been accustomed to, but it's really an inaccurate stat, man. Again, JJ gets off scot-free with that play, doesn't even get an error. That would have definitely been an out had he gloved that and thrown it on to first base. Berger was horrible at third with the Marlins. Like I said, I mean, it's hard on the live, y'all, sometimes. But, I mean, just thinking about it in my mind, that's one of the only other options I can really think of. And I would prefer the Walcott to third base option and move JJ to first. But everybody wants to move Seager to first base. I mean, everybody wants to move Seager there. So it's tough. They've got a little bit of a logjam at a couple of different spots. But, yeah, typically they don't move you off a position if you're playing it well. I mean, they just keeping it simple here, right? Buzzer was buzzing. Ethan, were you on the Buzzer app tonight? I'm sure it's going to be fine. Like, I'm sure it's going to be okay, but it's just frustrating. And for the fans that, watch on the TV and rely on, Roku TV, for example, which, I mean, there's a lot of TVs out there. Roku TV, man. If you don't have a phone, you don't like to watch the games on your phone, it's tough. And I don't care. I'm pretty flexible. I mean, I have an iPad too. Sometimes I'll watch the game on the iPad. I do that a lot on the lives. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people are going to be okay, but yeah, there's definitely a crowd that I'm sure is not going to have the same access for at least a month until they get all the other apps up and running. I've heard that Seager's back injury is due to his swing. Where'd you hear that? Who said that? That's interesting. I mean, look, Seager to me is definitely injury prone. And so, look, the swing, base running, just add it to the list. And I love Corey Seager, but just add it to the list, man. You're holding your breath when he runs hard. Now you got to hold your breath when he swings. Jackson, I would have too, man. I would have loved to seen a live chat on the Buzzer app tonight. That would have been hilarious. Johnny, I'm kind of with you. I've been in this mode. The comment from TikTok, by the way, Johnny, what's good, man? It's time for a blockbuster trade. I don't know, but we have to make a move. I have been saying the Rangers have to do something splashy. Like blockbuster trade, when I think blockbuster trade, I think about like that, Adrian Gonzalez, Carl Crawford, Boston Dodgers. I'm going way back, right? Not way back, but 15 years ago? That's what I think of when I think of blockbuster trade. But I just think the Rangers have to do something splashy. Like I saw, I forget who it was that posted this today. If it was like 162 in Arlington, one of the podcasts. There's obviously, I know a number of Rangers podcasts that are out there, including mine. But I think that, who was it, man? Lane Thomas or something like that. I forget who was the guy. It was like a right-handed bat, and it just wasn't splashy enough for me. It really wasn't splashy enough for me. I'm kind of like, that's the kind of bat that I think we need to pass on. Like Lane Thomas, would he be nice? Sure. Is that really going to push the Rangers over the edge offensively? No. Like they need to go get somebody a little bigger than that. Now, look, this would ruffle some feathers a little bit, but yeah, Dalton Rushing is a name that has been linked to the Rangers. Now, when I say linked, I want to clarify. Jeff Passan, in his trade article, said that the Rangers and Dalton Rushing would be a good fit. That's what I mean by linked. Are there confirmed discussions? No, not between CY and between the Dodgers front office. But I think obviously the Dodgers with Will Smith, they have a bit of a spoil of riches there, right? With the catching position. Trading Dalton Rushing does make sense, especially if you can get something back that fills a bigger need for you. Now, Dalton obviously rubs people the wrong way. And I think there would be some fans that would not want to see Dalton mess with the clubhouse. I don't know that I love all of Dalton Rushing's antics, but can I just say this? I kind of wouldn't mind a dude like that in the clubhouse, in this clubhouse. Like Brandon Nimmo's a great guy. Jake Berger's a great guy. Like we've got a lot of great guys in the clubhouse. Man, I would love somebody with a little bit of attitude. Just a little bit of chip. I'm so tired of babying the clubhouse. I don't know if anybody else connects with this, but I was thinking about this the other day. I just get so tired of the fans that want to baby this clubhouse, man. No, you don't want to mess with the vibes. Man, forget the vibes. We're trying to win ball games. You know what? I'm not going to ever be okay with we passed up a chance to get better because we don't want to ruin the vibes in the clubhouse. They missed the playoffs the last 2 years while maintaining decent vibes until the Simeon Seager drama unfolded. And look what happened there, right? I'm so tired of people babying the clubhouse, man. Like, at the end of the day, win some freaking ball games. Make the playoffs. And you know what? The Rangers could use a couple of, upsetters, if you will. They could use a little bit of chaos. I really don't think Dalton Rushing in the clubhouse is going to tank the team. You know what? The Dodgers are still winning ball games. Yes, they're obviously on a different level spending-wise, but I really wouldn't mind bringing in a dude like that. Rangers could use it. This has just kind of been, for the last 2 years, just a bunch of nice dudes, and the vibes are up. Come on, man. The vibes are up, but the play is down. You've missed the playoffs the last 2 years. I get tired of the clubhouse culture. That was such a buzzword, man, all off season. Culture, 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 culture. How about playoffs? Can that be the buzzword? Can playoffs be the buzzword? Like, culture is great. I'm not saying that you want some toxic dugout, but like, why is culture our big buzzword? How about playoffs? How about winning? And yes, the Rangers right now are a winning team. They are currently 49 and 48. I'm glad that the culture is good. I would like to see the team not be on the couch in October. Justin, I'm with you. Jarren Duran, there you go. There's a guy that's got a little bit of spice to him. I really would like to see a guy that's not just going to blend in with the background, man. I like the idea of adding a guy with some personality. Like, think about Dolly. And man, when Dolly was going bad, the word on the street, when Dolly was going bad, he just was not the same in that clubhouse. And it's hard to be the same in the clubhouse and be the energy guy, the rah-rah guy when your stats stink. But they need a Dolly type, somebody with a little flair, plays with a little bit of a chip, got a little attitude. The nice guy, culture, dudes. I'm just like, yeah, give me a little bit of that, but give me some dubs, baby. Like, come on now. I think that we have to keep the main thing, and that is winning a championship, not having the best clubhouse environment. All right. A Luis Arraez notification would feel like Christmas morning. That I could see. That's not going to shock me. Rangers acquire Luis Arraez from the Giants for, I don't think you're going to have to give up a ton. I think, maybe a top 15 guy. Obviously, you're going to have to pay some of the salary. I think did Arraez sign a $15 million deal? Ethan, you are our resident Luis Arraez expert. What's the contract? Ethan, what's that contract? Is it $15 million? So what, you'd be on the hook for 5 or 6? $12 million. $12 million. Jackson, you got it. All right. Ethan, you got it too. I knew I could count on you, my guy. I knew I could count on you. So you're only paying about $4 million in that scenario. That's not a lot there, man. That's not a big deal. So I figure, yeah, you're taking on the salary. You're probably giving a top 15. I don't know. Do you need to give 2 for a half season rental of Luis Arraez? I don't know. I feel like you could get away with trading a top 15, maybe a top 10 to get him. I don't know. If you want to trade 2, don't give up any top 10s, man. I'd go top 15s and call it a day. Yeah, I mean, Brennan, I'm with you on rushing. Like, it's okay if guys are a little bit hot-headed-ish. Yeah, I mean, look, being a bigot or a racist, yeah, that's not what we're talking about, right? It's a good clarification. Like, we're not talking about dudes that are coming into the clubhouse and, they're just totally toxic and just bad people in general. A dude that plays with a little bit of an attitude, with a little bit of a chip, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. Ethan, you and I think both said, Luis Arraez, you'll take that bat in the lineup. I was never a guy that turned my nose up. So many Rangers fans, I feel like, were like, he can't play defense, and he's a singles merchant. We just need guys that put the ball in play. And look, this shouldn't be shocking coming from a guy that loves Alejandro Osuna. Like, I give no craps that Osuna isn't hitting bombs. The dude's just getting on base, and unfortunately now he's getting benched. Look, you had Osuna tonight getting 1 AB and a pinch hit spot for Wyatt Langford. I think Cam Colley is definitely a guy with some nice, not just intangibles, but nice things to have on the bench. But man, I probably would have rather seen Osuna play tonight against Chris Sale. I know it's lefty, but man, I don't think you're expecting Cam Colley to do a whole lot better. I mean, Osuna's actually hit lefties decent this year. I think Osuna, unfortunately, is getting a little bit of the raw end of all this. I wonder if Osuna is trade bait. I don't want to see him leave because I love the player, but I do kind of wonder if Osuna is going to end up being a bit of trade bait. The Rangers are really committed to Evan Carter. Osuna really doesn't have anything to prove at the AAA level. Work on hitting home runs. No, I don't think any organization is going to, tell Osuna or tell a player, you need to hit more home runs. Work on that down in the minor leagues. It's not really how it works. I mean, Osuna is a guy that I think can hit 15 homers for you, maybe 20 in a good year. But he's a great AB and he's a great contact hitter. He does strike out a little bit here and there, but he puts the ball in play more often than not. I do wonder if there's some guys that are going to be trade potential. I think Cam Colley might be another guy that teams are interested in. I think Zeke Duran is interesting. I know Josh Young is a name that definitely is polarizing, but I think Josh Young would be interesting too. I do think that another guy that you could throw out there is Josh Smith. I don't know what his value is, but the Rangers have some MLB players that I think are tradable. It's just going to be curious what they decide to do. Do they want to deplete the farm? Or I think the other route is you trade some major league talent to upgrade in other areas. I think that to me is probably going to end up being a mix of what happens. I think they'll do a little bit of both. StatCast has Arise as the second best defensive second baseman in the league this year. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? There were so many people that were like, oh, he sucks at defense. Don't sign him. And look, I know this is going to come off as disrespectful to Josh Smith, but it's like Smitty was never Gold Glover out there. Like, yes, there is a Josh Smith defensive highlight reel in existence, but Smitty was never like Gold Glover. Like, you weren't going to dip that much going from Arise to Josh Smith or vice versa. And so for me, the defense was never really a thing. And look, he's been great this year. Isn't that crazy? Ron Washington chewing him out on the daily made Arise a good defender. Where were they together? Is Wash in San Francisco right now? Why am I blanking on that? That's funny, though, if that's the case. That is hilarious. Wash is in San Fran right now? Wow. There you go. There you go. That is definitely the Wash effect. That is the Wash effect. I think you definitely can give him some credit for that too. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go to tomorrow. Done talking about this game. We're over the hour mark. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes here and wrap things up for the night. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. It's been good. Look, Rangers obviously were not good tonight, but it's always good hanging out with you guys. Rain or shine, W or L. Mackenzie Gore on the mound tomorrow. You could have started Gore tonight. I do like the idea of the Rangers loading up in a non-sale game. You wonder, like, that could have been a good strategy type question to ask. I don't know how much Skip would have given, but I do think that it is probably the Rangers strategy to save Gore for tomorrow and save, Evaldi for Sunday if he is feeling good and ready to go. Gore, by the way, he does have a few ABs against certain players because obviously the Nationals and the Braves would square off a lot. Ozzy Albies does have, looks like 8 hits off of him in his career. 353 average and 17 ABs with a home run off Gore. Baldwin walked against him. Dubon 2 for 4. Farmer 1 for 8. Harris, look out for Harris. 2 bombs, 267 average and 15 ABs. Mateo 0 for 5. Olson 227 average and 22 at bats. No homers. Austin Riley 4 for 12. Austin Riley, man, he's having a little bit of a down year, isn't he? Especially after signing that big contract a couple of years ago. He has really fallen a little bit. Higgy helping give him a little confidence boost, though, with that home run late. Maybe that'll be just what the doctor ordered for Austin there. By the way, on the other side, Murphy has no ABs against any of the Rangers. Owen Murphy has not even started a game in his major league career. He's pitched in 2 games, 4 innings total. He has 4 strikeouts, has not yet walked a batter in his major league career. Does have a loss. What happened there? 2.25 ERA. He gave up a home run. Yeah, I think it was a home run against the Mets, lost that game, but he pitched 3 shutout innings against the Cardinals on July 11th. So there you go. That's it. So we are going to focus on the rest of the weekend here and hope that the Rangers can bounce back. They are going to be a 3:10 p.m. Texas time start tomorrow, 3:10 p.m. So we'll probably do the same thing, 8th or 9th inning. Look, usually I'm on a little earlier, but with tonight, the game being out of reach, I said I'm going to take my time, get here in the 9th inning, have a little bit more post-game show than usual. And look, that's kind of where we're at right now. That is the plan. And so we are going to wrap things up for the night. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night. We'll have a video out probably tomorrow early in the morning at some point, and then we will do our live show, 8th or 9th inning. Hopefully we'll be talking about a Rangers win, man. That is the plan. We definitely would like to see a better outcome, a more competitive outcome, if you will, than what we saw tonight. But God bless you. I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend if I don't see you. And as I always say to end every show, God bless. Go Rangers.